Hello, everyone, and welcome to Simply Cards by Kathy. I'm Kathy Yondas, and today is Friday, January 27th, 2023, and I am excited to share with you a diagonal joyful today. So I have some tips and tricks on using the two-step stamps. I'm going to show you how to use them with the Stamparatus, and even going to go over how to pick colors for your cards. I don't know if some of you have some trouble with what colors do I use. I'm going to show you how I use the color coach to pick my colors for my cards today. So I am going to stop talking and flip the camera down, and we're going to get started. Okay, hopefully you can see and hear me well. If you are with me live, welcome. And if you are new to my channel, welcome. And I'm so happy you're here with me. Please leave me a comment. Let me know where you're from. If you have any questions along the way, please post them in the comments. I am also live streaming to Facebook this week, seeing how that goes. If you are with me from Facebook, and because I use StreamYard, you will find a little link down below that you may have to click to be able to comment and show who you are. You can still comment, but all I'll see is Facebook user. So I'm happy to have you here with me. And if you are watching the replay, thank you so much. All of you help me to grow my channel, which I greatly appreciate. So I'm going to show you the card we're going to make. And we are going to do it in different colors, but I think it helps for you to see the card. So this is called a diagonal joy fold. So you might be wondering, what constitutes a joy fold? Well, it's a card within a card. So the diagonal is because it's cut in the front on the diagonal. And here's your card base, and you have another card mounted on that card base. So it is a card within a card, and it folds up like this. But I think it's so fun. I love this style, and I just love fun folds, and no matter what kind they are. But it looks like it could be a little bit difficult, but it really isn't. It's super easy. So I'm going to walk you today through all the diagonal cuts and how to get those to fit. It is easy. I'm going to show you how I picked my colors, because you can see normally I always will tell you I pull my colors from my designer series paper, but I didn't with this. I actually used the color coach, and I'm going to pull that in just a few minutes and show you how I did that. So let me set this off to the side, and I want to show you what I used. I'm going to bring in our mini catalog. Hopefully you can see this well. I'm using products from the Regency Park suite. I love this suite. I just did a whole workshop tutorial bundle using this paper with the sweet citrus bundle. I just love this paper. It's beautiful, and I'm going to bring that in for you. This suite actually has two bundles to it. You have Petal Park, which has the punch, and then you have the Sentimental Park, which has more images, but some beautiful, I love the greetings on this. I love that they're small and there's some different scripts, and then you have dies to match. So I'm going to set this off to the side. The only other product we'll be using today is our stitched rectangle dies. And just so you know, I am using the fourth largest. This one measures 2 5/8 by 3 7/8. And so that I'm using for the front of my card. So let's get that out of the way. Now I am going to bring in the paper for you to see quickly. This is the Regency Park paper, and just gorgeous prints. Lots of blues, which we don't often see. And we have sweet sorbet in there, and not evening evergreen, shaded spruce. So really pretty. You get 12 different sheets, 4 sheets of each print for a total of 48 sheets. And then you can see the backs are just kind of polka dots and maybe some weaving, and you have some stripes and some small florals and like a basket weave. So gorgeous papers. And I'm going to set those off and we're going to bring everything in. So I am using the Petal Park Suite for my front of my card. This is a two-step stamp set. It's photopolymer. I am going to show you how to use it. You can use it with the blocks easily, but I'm going to show you how to use it with the Stamparatus, which for me, was the easiest. I'm going to show you how to stamp and use the punch if you're new to using our punches. And then I'm going to bring in the Sentimental Park. I love these greetings. I'm going to bring it up a little bit for you. You can see the small print, and then you have some larger scripted fonts and some more flowers. And I'm using some of these images also and these greetings. So let's bring in our paper. Now, first, before I do that, I want to show you how I picked my colors. I really had a hard time picking colors, a little bit, because I wanted to use the balmy blue with navy. I thought that looked kind of striking, but then I wasn't sure what colors to pick. So I don't know if you're familiar with the color coaches by Stampin' Up, but this is what they look like. And so I went to balmy blue. And when I did, it gives you 3 different suggestions for colors to use with balmy blue. And I find a lot of times these are suggestions that I wouldn't even think to put together. So with this one, because I had balmy blue and night and navy, I went ahead and used Granny Apple Green for my green. Now, in all of the Designer Series paper, the color greens that are in the Regency suite are shaded spruce. So that was different. But I don't have shaded spruce in here in the paper, so I was good with that. And then I chose Poppy Parade just because I liked the color. So that's how I chose this card. For the card we're going to make, let me pull in this one. I wanted to stay with Poppy Parade for my flowers. So I took a look and it suggested petal pink. So I took a piece of Designer Series paper from Regency Suite that had petal pink in it. And then it had shaded spruce. So I used that, or we're going to use that for our leaves. And navy goes with all of them. So that was how I picked. So if you're ever struggling for how to come up with colors for your cards, this color coach is actually great. You can download it on my website. If you go to simplycardsbykathy.com, it'll be there under resources. All you do is download and print it. So I'm going to stop talking and we're going to start stamping. Now, I am going to give you the measurements as we go along, but don't worry about writing them down. In this, right down below the video, there will be a link by tomorrow morning at 10 that will show you the video, the measurements, the supplies, and there'll even be a downloadable PDF there for you to be able to print out for these cards. And the reason it'll be tomorrow is my website's doing a whole redesign, and that's supposed to happen today. So I'm excited about that. So that's why I can't post it today. So we are starting off with an 8.5 by 5.5 card base, and it's scored at 4 1/4. Now, to get that nice diagonal, we are going to cut. So I'm going to first fold on my score line, and I'm going to burnish with my bone folder. Now I'm going to take a piece of paper to burnish because I like to burnish it so I get a nice crisp fold. But I don't know if you've ever noticed, if you are using your bone folder and burnishing on dark paper, you can actually get a shiny line right where you've burnished on your paper. So I just take a piece of scrap paper or whatever I have, and I use that to burnish. Now I'm going to bring in my trimmer. And I'm going to bring it in so you can see me. Now, to get that diagonal, and remember these will be in the instructions, we are going to cut from the inside where our fold line is down to the left outer corner. So to do that, I'm going to line this up right in the track of where my blade is going to cut. So what I typically do is put the point right here in the corner or the edge of the track and then line it up from there. So we're going to go ahead and cut. And here is our diagonal fold. Now, we need the designer series paper to cover that diagonal. So here we have a piece of 4 by 5.5. Now on this one, we're going to cut differently. We're going to cut from the left upper to the right lower. So again, lining that up in my track and just kind of moving it over so they line up well. And I want to make sure that stays and that moved. So there we are. Now we're going to cut. And let's get this out of our way. So we are ready now to start to put our card together. So I want to flip this over, and I'm just going to burnish it again because I want it to lay. I usually burnish from both sides, but I want this to lay flatter. I'm gonna One thing about the fun folds is sometimes because they have a little extra bulk, they don't lay as flat, and that's okay. So we're going to take our piece of designer series paper, and you have enough now to make 2. And we're going to adhere this, or this is for the inside. What am I talking about? We're going to adhere this right to this diagonal. Now I am using my green glue or multi-purpose glue. I tend to use that more than anything, especially if you watch me, you know that. And the reason I like it is because it allows me to slide the paper to line it up a little better if I need to do that. So we're just going to get some glue on here. Yep, that's a little more than I wanted. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and adhere this to the front. So let's move this where you can see it. And this is cut so that you get a nice edge all the way around. Okay, now this other part of the diagonal goes on the inside. And again, it only covers part of the card. So let's go ahead and we're going to do that. And then the base of our joy fold, diagonal joy fold, is pretty much put together for us, and we'll start on the second card. So I'm just going to line this up here. And I just want to slide that over a little bit. There we go. So there's the base of our card with our petal pink and night and navy. So we're going to go ahead and bring in the second part of our card. This is part of the joy fold. Now this is 8.5 by 3 scored at 4 1/4. So we're going to go ahead and fold into the hill, and I'm going to go ahead and burnish this one with my bone folder. I hope you have some fun plans for the weekend. I hope it allows you to have some time for relaxation and some crafting, and that you're able to just enjoy the days. So this is our front. This is going to attach once we get this put together like this, so that our joy fold will actually fold over the front. So for the front of this, I used the stitched rectangle that I showed you, the 4th largest, and we're going to do our stamping and put our die cuts or our punch punch outs on here. This is the inside of our card. This measures 2 7/8 by 4 1/8, and we're going to stamp on here too. So let me go ahead and we're going to move this out of the way, and I'm going to bring in my Stamparatus. Okay. Now, I have part of it set up here. This is a 2-step stamp. You have 2 images, and I'm going to bring this in. This is your detailed stamp, and this is like the fill-in for that detailed stamp. So I have stamped it both ways, both using a block and with the Stamparatus. I did better with the Stamparatus because my hands sometimes aren't as steady, and I really like them lined up. So I'm going to show you what I did. So I took my paper that I'm going to stamp on, and I figured I wanted it lined up where I could adhere it using my magnets. And then I placed my stamp on the paper and then simply just picked it up, pressed down and picked it up. And I knew I had it lined over at 1 inch on the dark line. So hopefully you can see that. So that even if it moves, I know to line it back up there. I then took my second stamp, which is the fill-in, and I laid it on my stamped image. When it was in place, I took my second plate, brought it down, picked it up, and now I have them both perfectly lined up, and I was able to leave them like that to do with you today. So I'm going to leave this here for now, and we're going to ink up this detailed stamp. I start with the detailed stamp because I'm actually going to stamp off on the fill-in part and get a little bit lighter color. So I typically will put a stamp pad under here just to steady that while I apply my ink. And I know you can hear that kind of bouncing, but I want to get good coverage. I want a nice outline. So we're going to go ahead with that. I'm going to lay it down and just press. And I'm happy with that. Now I'm going to take this plate. You can take it off or just leave it. I'm going to leave it. And now I'm going to move to this plate. And I want to make sure it's lined up. See if I have to adjust it. And it doesn't really look like I have much to adjust. Let's just see here. This might have moved a little bit. Okay, I think we're good. So let's go ahead and we're going to ink this one up. Now I'm going to move it down a little bit so you can see me do that. And I'm using shaded spruce. And because they're photopolymer, you can see if you get good coverage, which I believe I have. So now what I'm going to do is bring in a piece of scrap paper because I want to lightly stamp this off. And I do mean lightly. Okay. And now I'm going to press down, and I'm just going to give it a good press with my fingers. The nice thing about the Stamparatus is if you need to go back over it, it's in place for you to do that. And I don't. I really like that image. So take a look. That's our 2-step stamping. Isn't that pretty? So let's move this out of the way. And now we're going to stamp our flowers. So I am going to open up our Poppy Parade, and I'm going to bring in a piece of scrap paper here. And we're going to stamp, actually we're going to use a smaller piece. We're going to stamp on this basic white. So I'm going to ink up my flowers with Poppy Parade. And again, I want to make sure I have good coverage there. And I'm simply going to, now, before I do that, we are going to be stamping, punching this out. So you want to make sure that you're kind of punching in the way you're going to place this paper into the stamp. So I'm going to re-ink, and I'm going to just stamp it down. And then for those of you that are new, if you're new to using Stampin' Up! Punches, you slide this in. Now I typically put mine down, and then I line it up. And you can see I don't have it lined up here. I need to turn it around. Whoa, hold on here. There we go. And you can see I did not stamp it the way I should have. So let's redo that. I'm going to bring in this piece. I'm going to look at my punch. I've re-inked, and now I'm going to stamp this way. And simply press down. Okay, I think we got it this time. So now I'm going to come in with this and just put it into my punch, and I press down lightly just to hold it in place. And I have to put mine down sometimes. There we go. Sometimes it's a little bit harder to press. So here's our flowers. And we're going to go ahead and arrange these right on our card front. So let's go ahead, and we are going to bring in our pick tool. And I'm going to put this one right in here, and I'm just going to arrange them. I am going to use mini Stampin' Dimensionals to pop these up. You can use the larger ones if you like. I just felt these kind of fit in the petals a little better. You can also use your large ones and cut them in half. I do that a lot. And let's put one here. And I am going to stick one right in the middle. And then we're just going to pull these off. Oh, okay. And I'm going to go ahead and put this one right in here. Now let's do the same with these. Now, if you enjoyed today's video, I would love it if you give me a thumbs up and help me grow my channel. And please feel free to share the video. That also helps me grow my channel, and I really appreciate that. Let's go ahead, and we're going to pop this one right in here. Now on my small one, I'm going to overlap it onto these two. So I don't want to put a Stampin' Dimensional there because then it won't sit right. So I'm only going to put one on that one edge, and I'm going to put one on this one. And we're going to pull these off, and then I'm just going to take a glue dot. Let me bring those in. And on this back edge, I'm simply going to pick up a glue dot here. And that's going to help adhere that to the flowers. So here's our card front for our second small card. And we're going to go ahead and adhere that on. Now I'm going to use the multi-purpose glue for that because I've already used my Stampin' Dimensionals on my flowers. I'm also going to pop up my greeting. So I don't want to make it any bulkier for mailing than I need to. Okay, now for a greeting, what are we going to do? Well, let's take a look here and let's pick one out. I can always use birthdays, so I'm going to do the happy birthday. And let's find that. That's right here. So with this one, when I'm picking, doing my greetings, especially photopolymer, I line them up on my grid paper because then I know they're straight. And this is a small greeting. So I'm going to stamp it on a small piece of basic white. This is a 1/2 inch. And I'm going to do it in Night of Navy. I'm going to stay with my colors. So let's go ahead and ink that up. I leave my paper so that I do get it straight. And then I'm going to mount this on a piece of Night of Navy. And this is a 5/8 inch strip. So I just want a slight border all the way around. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere that. And then we're just going to trim off the edge. I'm going to trim this down just a little bit. And we're going to go ahead and adhere that. I love this stamp set. I love the two-step stamping. It's just so pretty. And it gives you so many options. And then I'm just going to trim this down. And you can see I got ink on my hands and I smeared that. So we're going to redo it. And we're going to cut another piece of blue. So I have my piece, and this is what I did earlier. I have this from when we cut the diagonal off. I'm going to cut this at 5/8 of an inch. And I do have another piece of white. I was prepared. And let's restamp this. Always prepared for mistakes. We are crafting, and it's easy to make. So I'm going to restamp. And let's try that again. So I am going to trim this down just a little bit. Okay, and let's adhere that again. I don't know about you, but I make plenty of mistakes. That's part of handmade stuff. And, you know, when I first started, which is years and years ago, over 30, I would get really upset when I made a mistake. And I don't do that anymore because they're handmade. They're made with love. There's always a way to fix it. And I enjoy it too much to let it upset me. So I'm going to go ahead and pop that up with some Stampin' Dimensionals. And the front of our card is done, and we're going to adhere it then to our base. And then we're going to finish up on the inside. So let's do that. And I'm going to put one in the middle. Okay. And I'm going to just put this off to the side. I also want a little bit of white around it. So there's that, and let's adhere this. So I'm going to use my glue. And I want to just kind of put it in the middle. Give it a good press. And here's your card. Here's the part of it. Now we have to finish up the inside and add some gems to it. So we are now going to take our 2 and 7/8 by, or 2 and 5/8 by 2 and 7/8, I believe it was. And we're going to stamp. And since it says happy birthday, I thought we'd use let's celebrate. So let's go ahead and do that. All right. And I want to add some flowers. So for the inside, I actually took the stem from Sentimental Park, and then I pulled in the 3 little flowers from Petal Park and added those. So I'm going to bring in my stem, and you can see I have it partly mounted off because I'm not going to use that part. So I'm going to bring in my shaded spruce and ink it up. And I'm going to go off from the corner. So I am stamping off. Oops, let's see if we can line that up and restamp part of that. See if I can do that. Yep. And now I'm going to pull in those little flowers. Let's see if they're here. I'm going to bring these little flowers in, and I'm just going to mount them on my little block. And we're going to go back to our poppy parade. And our inside of our card is done. So let's adhere that. Now, if you are new to Stampin' Up! And you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and you need a catalog, please click on the right lower corner of either my Facebook page or my YouTube page and go over to my website and hit Contact Me. Email me your name and address. I'll be happy to send you a catalog. And I would love to have the opportunity to earn your business and be your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. So here's our card, and I just want to add a little bling. So I'm bringing in the adhesive backed Milky Dots, and I am going to use the Night and Navy. So let's put one here and one here. And you can see I'm picking them up with the putty end of my Take Your Pick tool. And let's put one up here. Move all this out of the way. And here's our card with the petal pink. And you can see the colors I pulled from our color coach. And here's the inside of it. And let me bring in our other one. This is the one I did ahead of time with the balmy blue. And you can see the different colors. Now, even on this one, I didn't do the double stamp. I decided to just stamp with one of the leaves. So you have options with these stamp sets, lots of different ones. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'd love, again, if you'd leave me a thumbs up or comment. Love to know which one you like better. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe and well. Hi, Yolanda. Thank you for joining me. And I will be back with you Tuesday at 11 a.m. for some more fun. So you have a great weekend, everybody, and I hope to see you again real soon.